like
Next
in.
podium?
Yeah.
Okay.
One second. Okay. Yeah. So this would be the podium, right?
Okay.
And then
Yeah, I'll probably just like walk up to the middle and do my stuff.
solid.
I'm just trying to think of like the right angle for this.
Oh yeah.
I'm just thinking like off to the left side.
Yeah.
In case I got this. But
And then yours, I can give you after.
that's yours.
Okay.
All right.
Ready to talk now?
I guess.
Break down the.
Yeah, I guess. Do you want me? Can I keep this one on the podium, just sitting there?
Yeah.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the rollout of RM26, our first EV car and our 31st year as a team. Today is a pretty big day, in my opinion. As a team, we've been working our butts off this season to try and build an EV car from scratch. A lot of things we didn't know, a lot of things we did know, but a lot of learning and a lot of teamwork in the process. And we are extremely proud with what we've done, and we're extremely excited to show it to all of you today. We have alumni, family, friends, sponsors in attendance, and we're excited to show this beast of a car to you all. So to start, I'd like to introduce Caitlin Lounsbury, an alumni of ours, of the team and of the school, to talk a little bit about the team.
Thank you, George, for that welcome. And thank all of you for being here this evening. I am thrilled to welcome you all to the unveiling of the Collegiate FSAE race car. The team has worked tirelessly to design and build a car that not only looks great, but also performs at the highest level. They have put in countless hours of research and development to ensure that every component of the car is optimized for speed, performance, and safety. The team has put a lot of effort in and has overcome numerous challenges to bring this car to life. They are grateful for their sponsors, faculty advisors, and to the entire team for their support and contribution to this project. Well, those remarks were wonderful, but in full transparency, I didn't write them. I put in a prompt to ChatGPT, and it told me what to say. They could apply to any Formula SAE team, including Rensselaer Motorsport, but anywhere. While applicable, AI is not able to speak to exactly how momentous this day is and all of the human effort that it took to produce this car. My name is Caitlin Lounsbury, and I am honored to be able to share those particular aspects specific to Rensselaer Motorsport with all of you this evening. I was a member of Rensselaer Motorsport from 2012 to 2015, and then I also had the privilege of serving as faculty advisor from 2016 to 2018. My time on the Formula SAE team taught me some valuable life lessons that prepared me for my professional career and led to some lifelong friendships as well. I am quite confident that the same can be said for each and every member of this team. In addition to building a high-performance vehicle, including the conversion from internal combustion to electric, I admire the team for several reasons this year. The first is for fostering community. I know that this team has spent a lot of time on being inclusive and welcoming to students from all majors, experience levels, and backgrounds. They have also built an organizational structure to encourage learning and participation from many voices. From internal developed educational seminars and quizzes to spending time socially through sports and other recreational activities, they have invested great time and seen great results through retention and other involvement. The second area is research and development. In ways quite likely never before experienced in the entire history of RPI Formula SAE, the team had to perform research, design, and development work to switch to a fully electric vehicle. They took on this very ambitious task in only a single year. This conversion required hundreds of hours of research, benchmarking, design work, training, and manufacturing, much of which had not been part of any past designs or development here at Rensselaer Motorsport. This trailblazing work puts Rensselaer in a new tier of competition, one in which I am very excited to see them compete. The final standout to me of this year's team is the ways that they have developed personally and professionally. Speaking as both a former member on the team as well as advisor, I know how many different components go into the car, but also that go into the successful management of a team. Running meetings, planning events, balancing the budget, soliciting sponsors, stewarding donors, preparing social media content, publishing a newsletter, developing curriculum for educational events, project management, communication skills, critical thinking, problem solving, and so much more. These are the life lessons that are taken from Bumstead Garage and Mercer Lab and head through life with you, never forgotten. Again, these are only 3 of the many reasons that I am so proud of the team and honored to be a part of this evening. Now, we come to the next part of the program, the unveiling. And to do that, I would like to introduce Nicole Picopa.
Hi, I'm Nicole, and I am super excited to be on Rensselaer Motorsport as a freshman this year. I am extremely proud of all the hard work that has been put in this year to make our first ever EV car, and it's really come out, I think, pretty good. We took on a lot of challenges, but we really pulled through, and what we've produced, I think we're all super proud of. So, I'm here to introduce 2 other freshmen who have put in a ton of work to help make this car a reality, and that is Noah Vamasi and Zaid Farjo, who are here to reveal RM26. So this is RM26, and now we're going to go back to Caitlin, who is going to introduce more of our team members for the next portion of our event, which is our Q&A.
Thank you very much for unveiling Rensselaer Motorsport's RM26. Very exciting. I know that everyone is looking forward to coming up later and getting a closer look. Congratulations to the team. This is my first time seeing the car assembled, so congratulations. At this point, I would like to introduce Benjamin Rome, Chris Sherlock, and Vivian Rost Nassan for some questions and answers about the team and the race car. So the first question is, why did you make the decision to do a one-year swap to an electric vehicle? Very ambitious.
Yeah, so part of Rensselaer Motorsport's history and past has always been to be on the cutting edge of performance. We're a racing team. We want to go racing. We want to drive our car really fast. And with the ever-shifting industry to electricity from internal combustion, we've noticed that our competition has slowly been dwindling out from the IC era. Most of the European competitions are already fully electric, and we wanted to be on the cutting edge of performance before we got switched out from internal combustion. And in order to do that, you have to have a couple years of failure before you can succeed really well. As a part of this, we went and toured some other schools' labs, and we took a look at some of their race cars, one of these being Cornell. We went after a Watkins Glen team trip, and we checked out their lab, and we checked out their accumulators and whatnot, and they told us it took 5 years before they had an accumulator that worked, and they had solved all their isolation issues. So I got to thinking, I said, we're a little bit better than Cornell is, and I said, I think we could do that in 1 year. And a large part of that is this team. This team is one of the most capable teams I've ever worked with. I've managed some fairly large projects in my life. I've worked with a lot of people over my 4 years at RPI, and this team never ceases to amaze me. Ever since my freshman year, they've always been capable of performing, getting things done. Even if it's the night before and the chassis isn't painted, it always comes out looking okay in the end. And so I think that's one of the main reasons why we decided to go to EV in 1 year, was an immense amount of confidence, a little bit of ego, and because I thought we could do it.
What were the team goals this year?
So we switched to EV. That was one of the big goals, is actually put together an EV car. But with that came some, I guess, things that we had to accept, which was, as Ben says, it takes quite a long time to get an EV car that's capable of performing the same that our IC cars have. So we tried to focus more on increasing our ability to do well in static events. So tech inspection, we want to pass tech inspection. We want to do well at design event. We want to do well in cost. We want to do well in all the static events, because that will, one, mean that we can not focus as much on making a fast race car, which we all want it to be a fast race car, but if we're doing it in a year, that's much too ambitious, and we didn't have that much ego. But that also means that we set the team up for success, because we get to focus more on engineering documentation and making sure the structure is there, and that future members, and as the team goes forward, we can really focus on like getting the dynamic aspects of the car more dialed in, and hopefully be more efficient in actually producing the car.
Yeah, we wanted to set this team up for the most amount of success as possible. Obviously, Chris and I are graduating, but we have a lot of very, very capable freshmen that are very, very good, and I'm looking forward to the future of the team. So part of it was, getting the ball rolling so that we could set up for future years and future success.
What was your favorite challenge to tackle on the car this year?
To put it in one vague word would be learning, because as you have heard a million times tonight, this was our first year as an EV vehicle, and well, EV is electric vehicle, but EV car. So I did sealed lead acid battery cars in high school, and so this was a big step for me to join a Formula SAE team, and the entire team was so welcoming, and joining the EV team specifically and working with them, they were so welcoming and so supportive, and getting to work in the Mercer lab and help build the segments and spot weld cells together. Learning and designing as a freshman was a challenge and very exciting, and the whole team was very supportive, and it was great. And that was my favorite challenge, because it was the whole part of it. It was just learning and developing on skills and having a good time.
Yeah, so for those of you that don't know me, I'm a CS major. I don't know why they decided to put me in charge of a mechanical engineering club, but I'm here. So I would say for me, the most fun challenge that I had was actually just the size of the team. In my 4 years on the team, it's never been this big. We have so many hands, we have so many bodies, there are so many people in the shop, and trying to be the glue that keeps it all together was the most fun challenge for me to solve.
I think for me it was definitely packaging and systems integration. it's always pretty hard to figure out where to put all of the parts on the car. It's kind of just what happens in racing. But especially once we're dealing with a new electric powertrain, we have all the dangers that come with that, all of the technology that's required by the regulations, the competition rules, everything that we need to make the car actually work properly. So figuring out how to get everything into, well, we have a lot of the same backspace, but really it's into a tiny little aluminum box. Was definitely one of the biggest challenges that we faced. And I think that while it may not be the best solution, we came up with a lot of solutions that work very well. And I think with the trend of going forward and setting the team up for success, everybody learned a lot on all of the things that need to be considered when putting things into the car. And it's also fun figuring out, like, I have a tiny little space like that big, and I need to fit something like that big, which you make something work eventually.
Thank you all. What would you say is one of the team's major takeaways from this year in your perspective?
Building cars is hard. One of my big takeaways was definitely that this was difficult, but this has proven to me more than anything that our team is capable of doing whatever we want to do when we put our mind to it. You know, the amount of work will fit the amount of time that is available, and so as time shrinks, our work effort and our workload will increase, and we have team members that have gone for 30, 40, 50 hours straight with just a couple power naps, and watching people scale up to get this car done was one of the biggest takeaways for me, was just how successful we can be and how much work we can put in when we really put our minds to it. And I'm really excited to see the team in the next few years continue to do that and continue to succeed.
So Ben did call it our mind, and I think that was a major takeaway, is that not one person will know everything about the car, and you have to really rely on your other team members for, even if it's just a second look or another point of view. If they're a different major, like I'm an industrial and management engineer doing EV stuff, everyone on the team is so diverse in their majors and their backgrounds and their perspectives. And on the team, that's what you really had to do, is you had to learn to rely on everyone else and be able to say, I don't know what this is and I need help.
Minus the obvious shift to electric vehicle, what are some other changes you may have made this year and the intentions of them?
Yeah, so I guess this kind of goes back to what I was saying with packaging. We knew that there was going to be a lot of components. We knew there was going to be things that we forgot to put on, and really we just knew that it was going to be a big challenge to figure out how to get everything in there. So one of the things that we did was we made sure that there was plenty of room to fit everything that was needed. So we stretched out, I guess the chassis is a little bit wider at the main roll hoop to fit the accumulator. And once you come up and look, you'll see that there's quite a bit of open space in there. But that's mostly to figure out where we can put things, and then once we go into the future, we can figure out how to bring everything in. And then another part with all of that is we designed everything to be probably a lot more durable than necessary. We made sure that we were focusing a lot on safety aspects. It's always a concern when you have a race car, you go fast. With IC, you have basically a bunch of explosions happening behind you. You're sitting on top of a fuel tank. But with this one, there's, I'd say, probably more danger. You have 400 volts and 240 amps that want to go through your heart, and you don't want that to happen while you're driving. Which fortunately, a lot of the rules put in safety aspects to stop that from happening as much as possible. But from a mechanical standpoint, it can be a little, you have to design it yourself. So we over-engineered a lot of things. The car is a lot heavier than it has been in the past, which the combination of being heavier, we have the weight shifted slightly further back, means that, and with the change in the chassis, we had to change a lot of the suspension. So the suspension had to get redesigned. Our goals with having slightly less performance but focusing on being able to complete endurance means that we had to focus on not as much downforce, but slightly reducing drag from the aero. So the obvious is we went EV, and there's an electric powertrain now, but what you realize is the car has to all work together. And so there were a lot of changes. Chassis had to change, suspension had to change, aero had to change. There's a lot of things that you don't necessarily expect need to change, but it really makes you appreciate that once you have a car that's driving, it's kind of a miracle that like all of the systems work together, and everything has to go exactly right, which I think is one of the coolest things, to be honest.
For the returning members, why did you choose to come back to the team year after year?
Yeah, so I'm a senior. I've been here since my freshman year. I was a lowly little CS major walking around campus looking like, oh, should I do the esports team? Maybe should I do ultimate frisbee? Maybe, oh, that's a pretty cool race car. I've ridden motorcycles before. And I was talking to Ryder and Graham, who were two juniors, seniors. They were old when I was there, I don't know. And they said, hey, you should come join this team. And I was like, I don't know if I'll fit in. I'm a CS major. And they said, oh, no, we're very welcoming. We'll have you on the team. And it just kind of became a family. It was a group of people that I could go hang out with on Friday night, on Saturday night, on Sunday night, on Monday night, on Tuesday. You get the point. Where, you could go to the shop, you have a family, you know people are going to be there, you know the people in the shop, and you're going to have a really good time hanging out with them. You're going to crack jokes, you're going to go watch Formula One on Sunday mornings, or if it's Australia, Saturday nights. And so that's why I kept coming back, because this team really, truly is a family to me, and I appreciate each and every one of you that are on the team, and thank you for making my college experience fun.
Yeah, I mean, my story is pretty similar to Ben's, and I'm sure if you ask like anyone who was on motorsport, their story will be pretty similar. I was looking for something to do when I came in freshman year, and I don't know, building cars is kind of cool. So I came in, I hammered like 50,000 A-arms, which was super fun. But that got me into learning how to weld, learning how to manufacture things, and really like brought all of the skills that I have today. And then I think that, and like Ben said, everybody's a family, and we want to get the car put together. So the amount of hours that people are willing to spend, the amount of work people are willing to put in, as was already hinted, there's very little sleep going around on all the members on the team. But when it's time to get a car together, that people put a car together. Full disclosure, there was no aircraft fabric on the car yesterday. A little bit before that, the chassis wasn't painted. We were still welding mounts on. But we got it together. I mean, people are willing to spend a lot of time because it's a family, and we want to have a car that works well. And I think we have one that looks like it'll work well. And based on the engineering that's been done so far, I'm sure that with a lot more sleepless nights, a lot more hours of work, we can have something that is functional and can drive. It probably won't be Stuttgart, but I think it's going to be pretty good, and I think that, as I've been saying, people have learned a lot, and I think just the knowledge is one of the best parts.
Thank you both. Maybe for those of you who've had an internship or time spent in industry, what is something that you have learned at motorsport and then used in that placement?
I think it's exactly what I just said. People are very willing on the team to put in a lot of hours to get things done. And I think that you'll find when you go work at a company and your boss gives you a job to do and he says, you have a month to do this, and you finish it in like a day and say, what's next? I think that's one of the biggest things, is you're willing to put in a lot of work and you just become very efficient and really like able to tackle any challenge that's thrown at you. And I'd say that in combination with all of the technical skills that you learn. I always tell people classes while there's some labs and some hands-on stuff, it's really just the theory of engineering. But once you're on the team and you're putting together a real thing, even for business majors, CS majors, you have to figure out how to manage the team. You have to figure out all of these aspects. And while you've seen them on paper, on lecture slides, maybe case studies, you actually have to do it. And really, it's a fully functioning company is what we have. So you get to see every single aspect that you will see in industry, and you'll be very prepared to do anything that you need to do.
Maybe forward looking a little bit. Chris, maybe you shouldn't be the one to answer this question. Given your previous answers, what are you looking forward to at competition?
Having fun. Like, we've put in so much work into this car, and we will continue to be putting work into this car. And going to competition and being able to justify our work to people in industry and to answer the hard questions and to show how much thought we've put into this car and to demonstrate our priorities and to see it running and to be there as a team, whether success or failure, the drive, we'll see how that works. We're really good at not getting sleep, so we'll see if we continue that. But it's gonna be a lot of fun, and we are a family, and now we will not get any breaks from each other, day or night, and so we will see if we are still a family after that. It should be good.
All right. And how would you like to see the team grow in the next few years?
Oh, me again? Oh, yeah, I am a freshman, okay. A lot of stuff has already been touched on by Ben and Chris up here, but I think, especially as we go forward, system cohesion is a really big thing, and as we continue to work with our EV, just making sure that everyone is on the same page and working together and building off of this baseline that we've set and this precedent of how much work and how much change can happen in 1 year with all the dedication and all of the design that went on early in the process. If we can do more of that, if we can bring freshmen in earlier on the design and the research, and so that they have a very strong foundation and a very solid understanding of not necessarily the math or the science because they haven't taken those classes, but if they understand that, that's great. But the theory and knowing how small changes can make really big changes on the car, getting that early, and that will make manufacturing a lot easier, and because that understanding is already there, and we can build upon that and have a good time and have some bonding early on with design.
Excellent. That concludes the question and answer portion. I'd like to thank all of you for your answers that you shared with us this evening.
Thank you, Caitlin. We appreciate having you here, as always. As you can see, once you join Motorsport, you never leave. You just keep coming back over and over and over again. Caitlin didn't have enough after her 3 or 4 years on the team, and she came back to be the faculty advisor, and she's still here. So it just goes to show how exciting being a part of this club is. So yeah, thank you guys both for your answers. Thank you for the wonderful questions. Thank you to our MC and to our other MC and to our other freshmen, and to everybody on the club that has put in very many, very late nights getting this car ready. Also a huge shout out to the Alumni House for hosting us today, and for all of you for being here. We appreciate having you all. So the next segment of our night is going to be, you guys can come up and look at the car. Please don't touch, things might fall off. But you're welcome to come up and look and inspect and see all the work. Maybe don't look too closely, like squint a little. If you have glasses, take those off, but just kidding, just kidding. Come up, come take a look at the car, ask us questions. We'll be up here. For team members, we're gonna start taking some photos, and we'll do photos, headshots a little bit later. So thank you guys again for coming, and enjoy your evening. I don't think we had a live stream. Really? Seeing as how they're freaking out and they had Oliver stand up, I don't know.
Well, let's see, because my parents have been texting me. Yeah, sure.